Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. The hearing for a fatal hit and run from last year will be delayed until spring. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with more details.
Troy Reynolds, the suspect in a hit-and-run that killed a Yucca Valley teenager, returned to court for an early disposition hearing yesterday morning, over a year after the collision occurred. Defense attorney Ronald Heading requested another continuation of the hearing, noting that the defense and prosecution were, quote, in discussions to try and resolve the matter, end quote. Judge Melissa Rodriguez granted the request and scheduled the early disposition hearing for April 8th. The decision marks the seventh time the hearing has been continued since the beginning of the case. On the evening of January 26, 2024, patrolling county sheriff's deputies found 16-year-old Joshua Barreras lying unresponsive in the center median of 29 Palms Highway near the intersection of Avalon Avenue. The teen was pronounced deceased at the High Desert Medical Center that night. The Morongo Basin Major Accident Investigation Team determined that a vehicle had struck Barreras and fled the scene. Following a 4-week investigation, Reynolds was identified by the Sheriff's Department as the primary suspect and turned himself in at the Joshua Tree Courthouse on February 27th, entering a not guilty plea. Reynolds' initial early disposition hearing was scheduled for April 16th of last year. Following the decision, a disruption occurred between family and friends of the victim and the accused while exiting the courtroom. Bailiffs were involved in escorting the parties separately and asking them to leave the premises. Troy Reynolds is charged with felony hit and run resulting in permanent injury or death. He is currently out on $500,000 bail. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
Arrests were made in 29 Palms last week by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Gang Narcotics Division as part of the department's ongoing Operation Consequences. Between February 10th and February 16th, the Sheriff's Department served 2 search warrants and contacted other suspects as part of an investigation into suspected gang members and felons believed to be in possession of weapons or narcotics across 29 Palms and Apple Valley. One of those warrants was served in the 6300 block of 29 Palms Highway in 29 Palms. A representative of the Sheriff's Department said that more specific information about arrests made as part of Operation Consequences could not be shared due to possible connections to gangs, narcotics, and future investigations. In the last week, Operation Consequences led to 19 felony arrests and 36 misdemeanor arrests and seized 3 firearms and an unspecified amount of suspected methamphetamine. The Yucca Valley Town Council meeting last night had a notably large turnout over concern on the town animal shelter's operations. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells, who rejoins us with more from the meeting.
The Yucca Valley Town Council meeting began with the discussion of an initial farmers market concept. Clayton Reardon of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Commission presented various items for consideration, including scope, location, schedule, and operational management. The council agreed to propose forming a certified farmers market with a 70-30 ratio of produce vendors to other food and craft vendors. All members agreed that utilizing a third-party operator with limited town sponsorship would be ideal. The Old Town parking and event space currently in development on Elk Trail was designated as the intended location. Councilmember Dennison noted that the residents are the driving force behind the event.
We have the ability to fluctuate as we see demand or desire from the community. Really, they have their hand on the rudder. That's how we got here. We want to make sure that we allow them to be participants in it.
Clayton Reardon also presented the PRCC's recommendation for the 2025 art installation at Library Plaza. The commission proposed the piece Where Is My Mind by Chad Lefevre be chosen, an approximate 9-foot-tall sculpture crafted from bronze and wax. The council approved the recommendation. Following installation, the sculpture will be displayed through November. The meeting had a noticeably large turnout, with over 35 attendees. During the public comment period, it became clear that many were in attendance regarding concern over the Yucca Valley Animal Shelter's operations. Over nearly an hour, approximately 15 individuals spoke, with other attendees raising hands to signify agreement. Some speakers told personal stories of negative experiences with the shelter. Others spoke solely about policy, particularly in comparison to the Joshua Tree No-Kill Shelter and the Paws and Palms Shelter in 29 Palms, which is aiming for no-kill status this year. Some of the most commonly raised concerns include high euthanasia rates, the lack of a volunteer program, irregular postings of found and adoptable animals online, and classifications of dogs as unadoptable. Ultimately, there is an overall request for increased transparency and change, as noted by attendee James Porter.
I'm going to echo what everybody else says behind me. I don't know what the solution is, but I know what the solution isn't. The solution isn't doing what we're doing today. That is not working. That's working in terms of getting animals out of our society that are troublesome, I guess. We can do better. So whether it's a volunteer program or oversight or new adoption methods or expanded outreach on Facebook, we need to do it.
All members of the town council thanked attendees for voicing their concerns and highlighted the importance of civic engagement to mitigate community issues. All iterated that the town council would formally address shelter operations at a future meeting. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
The 29 Palms Planning Commission spent much of last night's meeting addressing the 2 public hearings on the agenda. Annalise Kuiper joins us with a look at those public hearings.
First off, Commissioners Parr, Hanna and Krushat were sworn in for another 4-year term. A public hearing was held on term expiration dates. The Planning Commission adopted the resolution that the expiration terms of the Commission, as well as the election of the new chair and vice chair, will now occur at the first planning meeting in March. A recommendation will be forwarded to the City Council for approval of this Development Code amendment. Another public hearing was held on the specifics of lot size and maximum density when it comes to mobile home parks, RV parks, and commercial campgrounds. For mobile home parks, the minimum lot size is 2 acres with a maximum density of 12 spaces per acre. For RV parks, the minimum lot size must be 5 acres, and the maximum density is 12 per acre. For commercial campsites, the minimum lot size is 5 acres, with the maximum density of 15 spaces per acre. A minimum of 2 trash enclosures per 5 acres was stipulated, while other amenities were not required. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The High Desert Water District Board of Directors will meet today to hear an informational presentation on the current draft of the Western Joshua Tree Conservation Act and receive information about their most recent financial quarter. The board meets at 4 p.m. at their district office located at 55439 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. The Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors will meet today to receive a presentation on the Copper Mountain Mesa Assessment District Annual Report. The board meets at 5:30 p.m. at their Joshua Tree office located at 61750 Choyita Road. The Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors will be holding their regular meeting tonight at 6 p.m. in Covington Park's multipurpose room. Reporter Gabriel Hart has a look at the meeting's agenda.
For the meeting's agenda, it is recommended that the board review, discuss, and approve further action for the Community Relations Ad Hoc Committee, which would be comprised of 2 or more members of the board for monthly community gatherings to spread information regarding the CSD and to answer questions from the public. Each year, Morongo Valley residents come together to nominate and award Volunteer of the Year for the MVCSD Chuck Osborne Award. It is recommended that the board of directors review, discuss, and approve the 2024 Chuck Osborne Award winner. To enhance transparency to the public by showcasing the district's accomplishment throughout 2024, it is recommended that the Board of Directors review, discuss, and approve a year in review for the district's social media. The board will also review and discuss the feasibility and likelihood of partnering with MBA to have an ambulance staffed in the Morongo Valley Fire Department. Finally, staff is seeking authorization to acquire a wood chipper from Richard Brewer of the Morongo Valley Fire Safe Council. This wood chipper would be highly beneficial for park maintenance operations, as it can efficiently convert tree branches into mulch, which can then be recycled back into the park. It is recommended that the board review, discuss, and approve the acquisition of the wood chipper. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Gabriel Hart.
The 29 Palms High School Lady Wildcats softball team traveled to Xavier Prep yesterday. The team scored 17 runs, and their 3 pitchers shut out the Lady Saints. Jenica Silvas went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and scored 3 runs. Tui Young scored 2 runs. The Cats will face off against the Cathedral City Lions in an away game today. And finally, the 29 Palms High School boys varsity tennis team hosted the Lions of Cathedral City yesterday. The Wildcats lost 3-15. In singles action, Jeremy Burks won 1 set. In doubles action, the teams of Michael Acosta and Ryan Huang and William Herrera and Thomas Arthur each won 1 set. The Wildcats travel to Rancho Mirage tomorrow. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.